Hi there. Here at Never an Empty Nest, one of our favorite things to cook for our family is no-bake mac and cheese. It's my grandmother's recipe and it's the most delicious mac and cheese you'll ever eat. You use an onion, you use cheese, cheddar cheese, or whatever kind of cheese you want. We use a cheddar cheese. Use about 2 cups of macaroni. It's the most delicious thing you'll ever eat. So I'm going to start here by filling my pot about halfway full with cold water. Okay, I'm going to put that on the large damper on the stove here, and I'm going to turn it on and let it come to a boil. I'm also going to add a bit of salt. Now, it looks like a lot of salt, but most of this water is getting drained out, so it doesn't matter. Just give it a shake right out of the box. So we're going to just leave that and let that come to a boil.
The next thing I'm going to do here is chop up a nice, fairly large onion. Give it a peel. These onions look like they might have got a touch of freezing. The outside layers are a little bit bad on them, but the inside is fine, so it's all good. Okay, so we're just going to chop that in half. It's funny how every dish that you make, you chop your onions a little differently. For this, I chopped the onion lengthways, in little slices. Now you might be thinking, onion and mac and cheese, but when you put the onion in the pot, you let that boil for about 5 or 6 minutes before you add your macaroni, and then by the time your macaroni boils and is ready to be drained, the onion doesn't have a lot of substance left to it, but it gives the mac and cheese a really delicious flavor. So you can't really notice really the onions in the mac and cheese, except for the taste. And it's not really an onion taste either, it's just its own distinct taste. Okay, so I got those cut nice and thin. I'm just going to dump that right into my Dutch oven here. And I'll start timing that from the time that it comes to a boil.
So while we're waiting for that water and onions to come to a boil and cook that onion a bit, we're going to measure out our macaroni. So I just got regular old no-name elbow macaroni. Brand new bag. Open her up. We're going to go with about 2 cups. This is so delicious. My son works in Alberta on a 2-and-2 rotation, and I actually made some up as freezer meals for him. Just put it in a freezer tray and froze it up, and he loves it. Okay, so that's approximately 2 cups. There's a little bit more, not much more. So we're just going to wait now until that macaroni gets, that onions and water gets boiled. In the meantime, I'm going to grate up my cheese. I'll just lay this over here. I'm going to grate up a bit of cheese for that now. And with this, you don't need a big ton of cheese. So this is a 400 gram block. I already got a bit cut off it. I'd say about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of cheese. Say that much. That should be lots. Okay. So we'll grate up that much cheese. And while we're waiting for the onions to come to a boil here, I will get all the rest of the ingredients ready as well. This is great. I love these little Tupperware plates. I use them for little cutting boards, and I use them for everything. I bought a set. I thought I was going to use it for picnics, but we don't really do picnics. This old cheese grater's seen better days. The handle's missing off it. Soon be time to invest in a new one, I guess. I got the attachment for my KitchenAid, but unless you're grating 20 pounds of cheese, it doesn't make sense to haul that out just to grate up a bit of cheese and make all that mess. There. There's a little bit for Mama. Here we go. So there's our cheese. That should be lots. So we'll just set that aside now with our macaroni. I'm just going to move this over here. Whoops. I'm not real good at this camera stuff yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out one of these days. Just going to grab a strainer now. I don't need it for another little bit yet, but I'll have it ready when I do need it. Give my sink a good little scrub here now. I know nothing touches it after you drain your pasta, but I like to make sure my sink is good and clean before I dump my pasta in my strainer. Just give it a little scrub. There. That should do. Make sure I don't spray myself. And I always try to remember to turn the sprayer off because I got a bad habit of leaving it on, and then my husband turns on the water and he gets a shower. It's usually pretty funny, but he doesn't appreciate it, so I try to remember to turn it off. Okay, the onions and the macaroni is boiling away here. Sorry, not the onions and macaroni, the onions and the water. I'm just going to give it a little stir. I'm going to let that go for about 5 minutes before I put the macaroni in there. Macaroni generally I'll leave for about 10 minutes. So we'll just leave that alone. I got my little grand dog here under my feet now. Run along. Go over there. Go on. He's a little cutie. He's a little cute one. He likes to hang in the kitchen with Nanny. Sometimes Nanny don't like it, but he likes it, so that's all that matters, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some ingredients that we need here for our mac and cheese now. I need a can of evaporated milk. I need some mustard. I need some Worcester sauce. And I need some salt and pepper. Lizard, go over there, darling. Okay, so that's everything I need for this. So if you love mac and cheese and you think you can only have mac and cheese that you got to bake in the oven, you're wrong, because this is a delicious recipe. Now this, you can take it after you get it mixed up. You can take it and put it in the oven as well with a bit of cheese on top and a bit of breadcrumbs if that's what you like. But it's totally unnecessary. Great for quick, easy meals. Everybody loves it. Okay, so we're just going to dump our macaroni in here now. And I will see you back here when this macaroni is cooked. So our macaroni and onions is all cooked now. Just going to dump it into this colander and drain it good. Just lay this here for you. Give this a couple shakes, make sure all the water's out of it. Still see the onions in it, but there's not much left to them. They're pretty flimsy. By the time we get our other ingredients in here and get it stirred around, there won't be much trace of onions in there. Very, very slight. Okay, I'm just going to pour that back into the pot. Okay. Oops, I missed an onion. So the first thing I'm going to add in here, actually, just got to grab some butter. I almost forgot the butter. I use all fresh butter. I don't use any margarine. I don't like the fats of artificial butter. So, big chunk of butter. There might be a couple toast crumbs in there because somebody had toast this morning, but that's okay. If I was making this to sell in a restaurant, I'd make sure there was no toast crumbs in it. But since it's just for my family, it doesn't really matter. They don't mind. Okay, I got the butter in there now. I'm going to add some evaporated milk. I don't really measure this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Say 10 soup spoons of evaporated milk. And I'm going to add also in the cheese right now. A little shot of mustard to give it a bit of tang. I use old cheese because it's a little tangier, but I like it even tangier, so I add a little bit of mustard, not much. It's probably a tablespoon or a little better than a tablespoon. Also Worcester sauce. Give it a couple shakes, not a lot, because you don't really want to taste that on your mac and cheese. You just want it to enhance the flavor. So I'm going to lay this back on the stove here. I got the heat turned off, but there's still a bit of heat left from that burner there. So I'm just going to put it in here now, and I'm going to give it a stir around until all that cheese gets melted. Oh, it's going good. Some of that butter is not melted yet. I might give it another shot of milk as well. There. While we're waiting for the rest of that cheese to soften up and the butter to continue melting, I'm going to give it a good little dash of pepper. Black pepper. My family loves pepper, so use it according to your taste. A bit of salt. It's probably already salty enough, because we added quite a bit of salt to the boiling water for the onions and macaroni. It's looking good. My daughter-in-law works at a pharmacy. She's working today. She'll be pleasantly surprised today when she comes home to this. Sorry about the scraping of the metal spoon on the metal pot. I should probably use the wooden spoon. Okay, so like I said, now if you prefer to bake this in the oven, you can add a bit of cheese to the top of it in a casserole dish and put some breadcrumbs on it if you like, or you can just enjoy it just how it is. And there you are. That's our no-bake mac and cheese.